If you have a close loved one who's suffering from dementia, it can be devastating to watch them going through all the effects of this disease. And you may also worry about whether you might be at an increased risk for developing it yourself. Hi, I'm Dr. Patricia Shelton, lead medical communicator for Tahiro. And let's take a look at this article here on Tahiro's website about whether dementia runs in families and whether there's a way to avoid it if it does. So the short answer is yes, dementia does appear to have a hereditary link. So studies have found that if you have a parent or a sibling, so a close relative who has dementia, you have about a 60% higher risk of getting dementia later. And it turns out that early onset dementia is actually more strongly genetically linked than the later onset type. So early onset dementia, sometimes defined as starting before 60, sometimes before 65. And that is more likely to be a genetic condition, whereas later in life, there's a little bit less strong of a genetic link. But we do find that there's some kind of a genetic link. Now, we want to consider that your genetics, so the DNA sequence that you're born with, can't really be changed, right? You have the genes that you have, but the new science of epigenetics is showing us that there's actually a lot we can do to influence the expression of the genes. So which genes are turned on and which genes are turned off. That's epigenetics. And so even though your genetics can't change, your epigenetics can influence how those genes are expressed in your body. And there are many environmental factors under our control that can influence our epigenetics. So things like diet, stress, sleep, exercise, right? We actually have a lot of control over that. So if dementia does run in your family, so if you are concerned that there may be a genetic predisposition in your body, your brain to develop dementia, it's really important to take steps that help to decrease that risk. And they do that in part by influencing your epigenetics. So we have quite a few steps that are research proven to be helpful to reduce the risk of dementia. Staying mentally active, so giving the brain a lot of cognitive work to keep it active and exercise it. So things like reading, puzzles, learning new languages, learning a new dance, a new instrument, a new sport. Anything that's new to your brain that makes your brain need to problem solve and learn new things, that's going to be helpful for maintaining brain function over time. Exercise, one of the most important things for every single aspect of health, really, including the risk of dementia. So at least 30 minutes a day, pretty much every day if you can, moderate intensity exercise. So that's where you're just slightly out of breath. Like you could talk, but singing would be hard. You want to make sure you're getting a nice healthy diet, so lots of good fruits and vegetables to get the vitamins and minerals and antioxidants that your brain needs to function at its very best. And then we're focusing on things like whole grains and lean proteins, avoiding a lot of processed foods, a lot of trans fats and saturated fats. You want to watch out for high blood pressure and high cholesterol, both of which can cause damage to the brain over time. That leads to symptoms of dementia. So you want to make sure you're going to the doctor every year to get your checkup. And if you have these conditions, you're going to make sure you address them. Sleep is absolutely crucial. During sleep, the brain actually cleans out toxins and maintains itself. And so without sleep, the brain isn't able to do that maintenance, and that can cause it to break down over time, which leads to dementia. So you got to get the 7 to 8 hours of sleep every night. If you're worried that dementia might run in your family, getting that sleep is one of the most crucial things you can do to help avoid getting dementia. Learning to manage stress, very helpful. So chronic stress, just stress that stays over time and really you don't ever get a break from it. Those high levels of cortisol and other hormones impact brain tissue, and they can have a big impact over time. So learning how to manage stress, getting out of stressful situations, or learning some stress management techniques. Exercise is actually helpful for this too, but maybe meditation. Some people find it helpful to go to therapy or counseling. And then you want to make sure that you're getting enough polyunsaturated fatty acids. So these are things like omega-3s, omega-5s, omega-7s. These compounds have really been shown in research to have a huge impact on brain function in the short and the long term, and they seem to reduce the risk of dementia. Omega-3s you could get through food if you eat a lot of fatty fish, or you can get them through supplements. Either fish oil or algae oil are generally the best choices for getting the long-chain omega-3s that are really beneficial for the brain. And then omega-5s, very difficult to get through diet. So if you want to use omega-5s to help reduce your risk of dementia, then you need to find a high-quality supplement that offers those. So if you have any questions, please feel free to email us at knowledge@tahiro.com. And as always, we're wishing you great brain health.